Hey everyone, it's Patricia from tarantulaheaven.com, and Spidey is currently very active, so I'm hoping that she eventually makes her way to the front of the tank so you can see her, because she's hanging out in the back right now, but she's been crawling around a lot lately. So hopefully you'll get to see her move around because she's super cute. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the discrimination that tarantula owners face. I had written a post a long time ago, maybe about like a year and a half ago or more, about the horrible things people say to tarantula owners, and I got a ton of responses. So I finally updated that article and decided that it was time to bring it back, and I wanted to share what I learned from other people's experiences instead of just my own. So this is what this is going to be about. Anybody who has a non-traditional pet, like a snake, a tarantula, lizards, or anything else like that doesn't fall within like the furry animal type category, like cats, dogs, bunnies, hamsters, you've probably gotten some sort of discrimination or mean comment made about your pet, and some of these are actually really disturbing. A lot of people don't seem to know how harmful it is to do things like threaten to hurt a pet or say offensive things, like call them monsters or ugly or something like that. A lot of people who are used to mainstream pets really don't understand how hurtful or disrespectful those things are, and that these animals or these creatures are still pets and family members to us too, and that we love them just the same. And I've always made the argument that tarantula owners, or any owner of a non-traditional pet, we actually are like really wonderful people, because we are able to, kind of love without gain. It's kind of like, I love taking care of this creature, and oh, she's moving. Oh, she's so cute. Okay, anyway, Spidey doesn't really give me any love or affection like, my cat Ava or a dog would. It's kind of like a very one-sided relationship. I take care of her. She does provide me enjoyment because I like to look at her. I love to talk about her. I love learning about her. But, other than that, it's pretty much me just having affection for her. She can't feel it. She probably doesn't know I exist. She just gets toys in her tank magically, and food and water, and that just happens. And, to her, it's like whatever. She doesn't even know. But, I think that, loving without getting anything in return really is something that non-traditional pet owners really are known for, and that we're very compassionate people, because we do really care about these creatures, even though that love is never really returned to us. So I just wanted to say that for anyone who discriminates or thinks that tarantula owners or any other pet owner that's non-traditional are weird, we're actually very caring, responsible, and compassionate people. And just because we happen to like something or find something beautiful or interesting that other people normally don't, doesn't mean that we're weird or crazy or anything like that. So I just wanted to say that first. Anyway, moving on. So when I first got my tarantula Spidey, she's a Chilean rose hair. I have a really great group of friends, and I didn't really get a lot of this from my family or my friends, but it's something that I see a lot online in the online communities. I remember when I first got Spidey, I was so ecstatic to take pictures of her and post her and put her everywhere, because I was, when you get a new pet, you want to share it with everybody. It was so exciting for me. And I quickly learned that that was not always a good idea. I was posting her a lot on Facebook and Instagram, and I do not do that anymore because, I was getting a lot of weird comments, or people, like my friends were, blocking the pictures, or they were saying mean things about it, or like Facebook friends. So I don't do that anymore. And obviously blocking because you are arachnophobic and it brings up fear for you, that is fine. You should not have to look at something you don't want to, and that's not the problem. The problem is disrespectful comments or hate, and I think anybody who posts their tarantula or snake online has dealt with this at least once. So I don't post Spidey on Facebook or Instagram anymore, and that's the exact reason why. It's just because I was getting too much backlash for it. So that's why I started Spidey's Tumblr blog, is because I needed a place where I didn't have friends or family, or I might offend somebody with my pet that I knew. So I accidentally found that there was a huge tarantula community online just because I couldn't post her pictures anywhere else, and I wanted a way to share with the world. But you know, every now and then I do get someone who will send me hate mail about Spidey, or people have occasionally reblogged her pictures with things like guns or kill it with fire or something like that. I mean, for the most part, I've been super lucky in that most of the people that share Spidey's pictures, or they come in contact with Spidey's blog, or they interact with me, are very respectful, and they actually love her. A lot of people have been super educated by her, just like exposing themselves to her and learning more about tarantulas in general, which is great. But I've still definitely dealt with that, and it's such a common thing, like in being in the tarantula community. This is something that I see all the time, and it really came to my attention when I had posted something. The first time I posted about things that people say to tarantula owners, I got a heartbreaking response that I would really like to share with you. And it really put this under perspective for me. So I'm gonna read something Silver Spider 448 on Tumblr had sent to me, and it's a really heartbreaking story, and I think it really shows how hurtful things can be and how much we really do love our pets. So this person shared, when I was 9 years old, I had a rose hair tarantula. One night my family and I came home to find that our apartment had been broken into. They stole several things, but the most horrifying thing to me was the discovery that the monster that had broken into our apartment had gone out of their way just to torture my precious pet, flip him on his back, and stab him with a fork. I cried for days over that, and even though I love tarantulas and spiders, I have not been able to bring myself to get another one. It was just so heartbreaking for me, but no one understood that. If it had been someone's dog, it would have been all over the news, but because he was a tarantula, no one cared. So I think that, you know, when you lose a tarantula, many tarantula owners get really upset, and there's just very little support for them. And a lot of people even make mean comments when that happens too. People just really don't understand how you could love a creature like this. And that just really was so heartbreaking, not only because what happened to the tarantula was just so cruel and heartless, but that this person was not even really allowed to grieve because people didn't understand how this sort of thing could be hurtful, or how it could be like traumatizing because it's just a spider, but it's really not. And a lot of other people have sent me comments, just looking through them. People have said, like, you know, kill it with fire. One person said that, you know, their friends used to sleep over, and now because they got a tarantula, they refuse to sleep in their room. There's so many more. I have so many more examples. If you want to read them, you can read them in the blog post in the description that I'm going to link to, because there's literally like dozens of people who sent me things that people have said to me, or said to them, or their experiences. And it's just really heartbreaking, and it's very relatable if you're a tarantula owner. Another person said that, like, I think something that a lot of people deal with is that people threaten to hurt their pets, you know, threaten to hurt their safety. One person even had their landlord evict them because of their tarantulas. So, you know, there's a bit of discrimination here when it comes to these animals. And something cool that I found online on Tumblr. I love Tumblr because it's just such a good community. This is from Tales from the Water. And they wrote, the fact that actually caring about proper animal husbandry and giving all of your pets, no matter what species they are, exactly what they need in terms of care to make sure they're living happy, healthy lives is considered weird, bizarre, or crazy really deeply saddens me. And I think that really applies to tarantula owners, because we do really care about husbandry and taking care of these animals, and we care on a very deep level. And people do think like we're weird or bizarre. I do remember one particular time where I was getting some superworms for Spidey at a pet store, and an older man asked me what they were for, and I said, it's for my tarantula. And he kind of said like, oh, I guess that keeps the boys away. And I was kind of like, what is that? Like, who are you? Like, people just think it's okay to make these inappropriate comments about us and our pets, and it's just so bizarre. It's just things that you would never Literally never say. You would never say, I'm gonna kill your dog, or I would set your dog on fire, or anything like that. Like, this is not okay. It's not okay. It's never okay. It will never be okay. And people just really need to learn to respect these creatures, and respect that just because you don't think this animal is important, or a good animal, or a good creature that should be kept as a pet, doesn't mean that it's not, and it doesn't mean that your comments are appropriate. Basically, threatening someone's pet, no matter what creature it is, whether it's a dog, a cat, a spider, a snake, is never okay. You should never do it. It's so disrespectful. And it actually kind of inspired me to make a t-shirt about it, because I'm really passionate about tarantula activism. And basically the whole t-shirt, the premise behind it is like, I would never say this about your pet, so it's not okay to say this about my tarantula. And I'll link to that below, just so you can see it. I've actually had some people buy it, and I love that, because that means that people on the street, like regular people, when you're wearing this t-shirt, that means that people are getting the message. And I've had some people say like, oh, like people have actually asked me about it. And like I've explained to them what it means. So like that makes me really happy, because I just want to keep having this conversation so that we can like really advocate for the respect of these animals. So anyway, I'll link to that below if you want to check it out. In closing, if you've had a similar experience, please let me know, because I think that sharing these stories really furthers the conversation. And I think that the more people participate and like give their experiences and their points of view on it, definitely opens up the conversation for us to advocate for tarantulas and pets that aren't the traditional mainstream pets to have in the home. And thank you so much for watching. I know it was kind of long, but this is a topic that we just deal with so much, and it's just so pervasive. And I know that, you know, if you are a tarantula owner, you have definitely dealt with this. It's just something that will definitely happen to you at least once, probably, unfortunately, way more. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to leave all the links below, especially to the blog post, which has all the different comments that I've gotten from tarantula owners about their experiences. It's going to blow you away. And I thank everyone who has shared their experiences with me so far. I very much appreciate it. And thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Anyway, check out the links in the description, and please let me know what you think. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.